Hi, and welcome to lecture 4.3. This is lesson 4 of our unit on percents. Today we will be using our brains a little bit, not a calculator, to try to estimate what is the percent of a number. So there are a few different ways that we can express a percent. For example, if you have something that's 15%, well, we can break this down to 10% and half of 10%, which is 5%. So when we want to do 10% of a number, let's say of 230, we just move the decimal place over one time. So let's look at an example. Gurinder goes to a restaurant and his bill is $24.75. He wants to leave a 15% tip, so what should his tip be? Well, for here we just need to move the decimal place over once to get that 10%. So let's break this down into 10% and 5%. So 10% of 24.75 would be 2.48 because we just moved the decimal place over one time and we're going to round that 7 up to an 8. So if that is 10%, we need to figure out 5%. Well, we're going down by half. So we just need to take this number down by half. So for 5%, what is half of 2.48? Well, half would be 1.24. So 5% is 1.24. Now to get that 15% then, we would say 2.48 plus 1.24 equals 3.72 as the tip. So Gurinder should leave $3.72 as his tip. In our math class, tests are worth 80% and homework is worth 20% of your mark. So let's figure out if you've been getting 8 out of 10 and 10 out of 10 on your homework and you got 78% and 82% on your tests, where should your mark be at right now? Well, for homework, we need to figure out what the average is. So if you got 8 out of 10 and 9 out of 10, we'd have to divide this whole thing by 2 because there are 2 total tests. So we can say 8 out of 10 is 0.8 plus 0.9 divided by 2 gives us 0.85. And for our test average, let's just bump this down a little bit here, we have 78% and 82%, and we'll divide this by 2 tests, 2 out of the total. So 78 plus 82 divided by 2 gives us 80%, which is the same as saying 0.8 as the decimal. So now we just put it all together. If we have 0.20% is our homework, this is how much the homework is out of. And what did you get on the homework? Well, you got 0.85% on your homework, so your homework mark. Plus, what did you get on the test? Well, the tests are out of tests, percent is 80%, times you got 80%, your percent on tests. And so if we say 0.2 times 0.85, well, that gives us 0.17 plus 0.8 times 0.8, well, that gives us 0.64. So our total should be 0.81. Now to figure out what that is as a percent, we just times by 100, and that gives us 81% current mark. Great. Let's estimate the percent of these numbers. Well, for 150%, we can break this down to 100% and 50%. So 100% of 5 is $5. And 50% is just half, is 2.5. So to get 150, we just say 5 plus 2.5 gives us 7.5. well, if we're in money, we can say 750. And 9% of 212, well, this is pretty close to 10%. 10% of 212 is 21.2, and we know that 1% then of 212 is 2.12. So if we know the 10%, we know the 1%, why don't we just minus 1 from the 10? So 21.2, which is the 10%, minus 2.12, which is 1%, should give us a pretty close to the 9% of 19.12. And we have dollars, so we can't forget our dollars there. Estimate the percent for these test marks. Well, 15 out of 19. This can be sort of meshed over to a percent over 100. So 19 is pretty close to 20. So 19 or 20 times 5 gives us 100. So 15 times 5 would give us 75. So about 75%. If we check this on our calculator, 15 divided by 19 actually equals 79%. So that is a pretty good estimation there. 22 out of 33. This is roughly goes into 100. 33 goes into 99. So we can say sort of goes into 100 3 times-ish. So 22 times 3 will give us 66 out of 100. So about 66%. Now, if we were to actually do 22 divided by 33, we would find that this gives us 67%. So that is a really close estimation. All right, I hope you're feeling comfortable with estimating the percent. We're going to practice this together on Monday, so please come prepared.